Hey, thanks for tuning in again with us. Today we're going to talk about quality of multivitamin supplementation. In our previous couple of videos, we talked about the controversy, the multivitamin controversy. It's so irritated Len and I that we dedicated a radio broadcast to it, of which, if you're not familiar with, we have radio broadcasts that we do on a daily basis, 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 2 to 5 Eastern Standard Time and 8 to 9 a.m. On Saturday morning. XM, Sirius Satellite Radio, and a number of stations in local areas, Boston, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Atlanta, and so on. So tune in, go to the website at lenandjoe.com, hopefully where you found this, and look for specific times. We do a lot of teaching on the ABCs of nutrition, naturopathic health, holistic health, what's in the news, what's new, what's hot. Not just for the fact of what's hot, but what is affecting your health. Well, we did a two-part series on, if you just go back and look on the multivitamin controversy. Are they safe? Are people dying because they're taking multivitamins? We did that, part 1 and part 2. I thought it would be interesting to do a little bit of a spin-off now because I believe part of the issue, I defined all the areas that I believe were problematic in the first two teachings. Now I want to go over to the quality of supplementation. Is there such a thing, or are all vitamins created equal? Let's talk about it. They're not, first of all. There are inorganic salts, there are synthetic versions, there are inorganic compounds, ton of binders and fillers in many of them that make and separate quality nutraceuticals from very poor and poorly manufactured nutraceuticals. When Len and I toured a plant about 10 years ago in New Jersey, we found it interesting that what we saw is that this particular manufacturer had 3 different grades and levels. And what I mean by that is they made supplements for kind of your mass merchandise or big box stores. And those were the highest volume supplements. They were the lowest cost. And part of how they did that was using the poorest grade supplementation, using more and more flow agents so that the machines run faster, you can punch out tablets faster, you can literally assembly line manufacture these nutraceuticals in a much more rapid fashion. You had mid-level for individuals or purchasers of that manufacturer's products that wanted a little higher quality. Then you had another layer which was even beyond that, which provided a higher quality. There was less binders, less fillers. The machines moved more slowly. Cost goes up. But at that point, we walked away from that particular manufacturer because we still weren't convinced of their efficacy as a manufacturer. One that we found, we believe, did abide by a lot of those principles that we want to see. Minimal amount of binders and fillers, minimal amount of flow agents. In some cases, it's almost impossible not to if you want a tabsule or tablet, a type of a capsule, a tablet. But I think the real key is what are the types of active ingredients that you use. So I'm not going to run down every single aspect, but let's just talk about the basics. We use coenzyme forms of Bs. For example, as one example, B6. We just don't use pyridoxine hydrochloride. Pyridoxine hydrochloride has to be converted in your liver to pyridoxal 5-phosphate. We don't utilize all pyridoxine hydrochloride. It's a portion of pyridoxine and it's a portion of pyridoxal 5-phosphate. Why? Some of you don't convert real well. Diabetics, for example, don't convert real well. So we find that utilizing some of the pyridoxal 5-phosphate along with the pyridoxine hydrochloride, you'll maximize. They're called coenzyme forms of Bs. Let's talk about the forms of selenium. If you look at most selenium products in most commercially available brands of a multivitamin, selenium is sodium selenite, It should be an yeast-derived, organically bound form of selenium called L-selenomethionine. We use the L-selenomethionine form. What are the forms of E? We do not use a synthetic form of vitamin E. We do not use the singular component. There are 8, let me do this now, 8 different isomers. 8 different isomers making up the whole complex of vitamin E. 4 tocotrienols, 4 tocopherols. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta tocopherol, alpha, beta, gamma, delta tocotrienol. So we utilize the whole complex, not the one individual. We use the buffered C ascorbates, not ascorbic acid. It is bound to minerals, makes it pH neutral. We use the all-L ascorbate, not the mixture L and R. Well, R. What does that mean to you? Well, from a chemistry standpoint, the R form is very poorly utilized and virtually human bodies have no way to consume it and use it. So each one of these areas heightens and raises the efficacy, the efficiency of absorption, the efficiency of utilization, how the body takes it in, and with minimal amount of binders, fillers, no shellacs. We use no coating agents that are of a chemical nature or actually droppings from insects, and that's exactly what carnauba waxes are and some of the compounds that are used to shellac and coat many droppings. Yeah, you heard that correct, droppings. I think if you look at the forms of vitamin E, the forms of C, the Bs, now let's talk about the minerals. This could be the key area. We believe that the minerals, not all minerals are created equal. The mineral itself, whether it's magnesium, is no different than magnesium, obviously. Calcium is no different than calcium. What it is bound to, its carrier. There are carrier salts. These components do not exist individually, singularly. They exist in a bound state to a carrier salt. The salt that it's bound to is probably as important as the mineral that it's actually carrying. So for example, we don't use a magnesium chloride, magnesium oxide. We use magnesium aspartates, citrates, bisglycinates, the most absorbed forms that you put, 100% bioavailable. Let's jump over quickly to the cell cycle intermediates. We use cell cycle intermediates, and all that means is the ATP cycle that generates energy in our mitochondria. If you really look at it from a chemistry standpoint, from a cellular level, if you can donate energy to those cells and not extract energy, if you can donate energy by using cell cycle intermediate salts, they will upregulate the ability of the cell to generate energy. Those are the forms that we use. How about vitamin K? Vitamin K is critical to heart health, cardiovascular health, bone health. Deficiencies of vitamin K are associated with increasing incidences of heart disease, hardening of the arteries. Do you realize that in an animal study, when they feed them a diet that is highly deficient in vitamin K, the elasticity, the plasticity of the artery walls becomes firmer and more rigid. There's lack of compliance in the vascular beds. So if you look at it from the Bs to the types and forms of preformed vitamin As, to the mixtures of the tocotrienols, tocopherols, to the minerals, what are they bound to? Are they poorly absorbed, fully unionized salts, or are they fully ionized, highly bioavailable salts? Those are just, frankly, just the tips of the iceberg, quite honestly. Minerals are very much, other minerals rather, are very much the same. Do we use GTF chromium, a glucose tolerance factor form of chromium? Yes, we do. Do we use magnesium that counterbalances calcium? Yes, we do. Folks, on the quality of multivitamin supplementation, I could spend another half hour without even getting to molecular distillation of omega-3s. We triple refine. We have our own manufacturer that does a triple distillation process, molecularly distilled omega-3s. Those are just some of the basics. I believe I'd like to come back and talk to you again about the quality of supplementation, whether it's probiotics, etc., and why there is a difference between a commercially available product and a high-quality, professional-grade type of pharmaceutical, nutraceutical rather. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. Look for the next video.